how many of you, show of hands?
Oh, the goats. CNN asked undecided PA voters if the town hall changed their minds. This was what I was waiting for. This is my best. This is, I love me some undecided voters, baby. 13 days out, and I'm still undecided. Let me tell you, okay? 13 days out. Yeah, why did so many of them not show up? All right.
Hands will leave tonight planning to support the vice president. 2 have made a final decision. Now, you came in leaning that way?
Pretty much right in the middle.
Okay. Came in
leaning.
Leaning, and now you're decided?
Yes.
Okay. Now, 3 of you have not, so let me start with you first, Joe. Why?
I think there are still, first off, I certainly respect the vice president and the work that she is doing in her office. I think that there are still some, at least for me, some personal policy differences. I don't think that, I still can't get behind her policies on abortion. That's just something that I can't get behind, because that's, the right to life is so fundamental in this country that it becomes, without that right being respected, it's incredibly difficult to talk about anything else. So I have a policy difference, a number of policy differences with her. That's the biggest one that comes to mind. But at the same time, I'm still not sold on the former president either, just because of his personality, his actions on January 6th, just the way that sometimes he treats people. That gets to be a little bit difficult for me.
So 2 quick follow-ups here. Number 1, so you're not leaving here planning to vote for Trump. You're leaving here still not knowing what to do.
I came in here leaning in the direction of the former president. I have not made a final decision.
The vice president approached you as she was walking out, and we could hear a little bit of it from afar, but you were having a conversation about your disagreement on abortion.
Yes.
Obviously, you still disagree with her. What did it mean to you that she took the time to talk to you? Did it mean anything at all?
It meant quite a bit, actually. I will respect that. Anybody who's willing to hear ideas that are in opposition to hers, and that's, or to anybody's really for that matter, that's something that is a personality trait that I really appreciate. And that is certainly something that, like, I try to have in myself. I do try to listen to as many points of view as possible in my day-to-day life to try to get that. So I appreciate that element for her.
I guess not any women's point of view, though, because how the could you live by that standard and still be a goddamn anti-abortion guy in your old-ass age, bro? Also, excuse me, but no, I don't believe that someone who is like this solidly anti-abortion is still undecided. Like, how? How is that a thing? How can you be, like, you're voting for Trump? Like, if you're saying you're undecided 13 days out from the election and you're like, my single issue is abortion, why the fuck would you vote for Kamala Harris? I do not care what these people say. I don't care, okay? I am going to make up my mind about them. You cannot stop me. I am so invested in watching them operate because I think it's fascinating, but I've already made up my mind about these undecided voters. No matter what, okay? Like, 13 days out, dog. 13 days out. Are you fucking kidding me? He's like, oh, my single issue is abortion. No, you're a plant. You're there to present a significantly more reactionary perspective than the average American on an issue that is so overwhelmingly unpopular that Donald Trump might still lose the election, okay? What the are we talking about? Like, you are, and I cannot stress this enough, the tiniest minority in this country in terms of like singular political issues, okay? You're like a fucking flat earther. And the most devastating aspect of like media coverage surrounding abortion leading up to Roe v. Wade being overturned was always that this is a divisive issue. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. There are a fuck ton of Americans who are like, I think abortion is fucked up. It shouldn't happen. I would never do it. And I would never let my daughter do it, who also simultaneously still think maybe the government shouldn't interfere in that, okay? When you say, I am an anti-abortion single-issue voter, you're objectively in the less than 20% of Americans who are at this point, okay? That's it. There has never been a moment in the United States of America post Roe v. Wade where less than 75% of Americans have thought, oh yeah, we should overturn it. Never. Okay? Never. It is fucking ridiculous that the media tried to even present this leading up to Roe v. Wade, because I remember I would get mad at this all the fucking time by being like, it's a divisive issue that a lot of Americans are split on. No, they're not. Not even in red states, they are not. Okay? And it's so weird that the media still presents this as like a serious person. It's not. This is not reflective of the broader electorate. This is not reflective of the Pennsylvania electorate. This is not reflective of anyone. So one must ask the question, why? Why is he on this fucking panel? Okay? Why is he on this panel? It is specifically to make it seem as though there is more people out there who also have this opinion when there aren't. Okay? Because he's hot, yes, and that. Because he's sexy.
It's just sometimes this can be so very fundamental. That particular issue can be so very fundamental to how we talk about anything else, the right to life, not just abortion, but the respect of life from the beginning to the end is so very fundamental to how we operate as a country.
Well, we have 12 days to keep in touch with you as we go forward. We'll come back to the conversation. I just want to go back to the back row a little bit. So Pam and Lauren, Pam on my left, Lauren on my right.
Wait, y'all found the guy? That's crazy. That's amazing. He tweeted about how he tweeted making fun of Joe Biden like in July. That's awesome. Yeah, undecided, by the way.
So you're not leaving here planning to vote for her. Do you leave here any clearer in either direction?
You know, actually, I think if I had to pick right now, I would pick her.
If you had to pick right now,
I would.
But
yes.
Is that you changed your mind since I asked the question a minute ago, or that's where you're more strongly leaning there? Is there what's missing? If there's a missing link to get you to absolutely, what is it?
That's a tough question. I guess a lot of the foreign policy is really my biggest concern, but.
Do you see the latest? Yeah, I don't care about Mudahar. Once again, Mudahar can farm a right-wing audience as much as he wants from this like centrist drama baiting position. This fucker literally went to the Hajj, okay? He did the pilgrimage. Mudahar went to Mecca and Medina, okay? I do not care. It's ridiculous that he is cultivating desperately a fan base of people that think he is inferior. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, no, you can present it as like, oh, well, I have like significant issues with your coverage on this last 12 months of genocide. And if that's your only fucking output, then you're not like serious. You're not serious at all. You're not a serious person. Okay, that's it. Like, make no mistake. I see it, and I'm sure others see it too. If you've said very little about Gaza, about Palestinians, about Israel over the course of the past 12 months of like death and destruction, and the only time you actually talk about it is when you're fucking railing against dudes who are speaking out against it, then you've made up your mind on it, okay? The reason why I point out the fact that he went, I point out the fact that he's done this pilgrimage is because like he is at a certain point he was like a committed Muslim, like a better Muslim than I could ever be, right? That's a pretty significant aspect of Islam. So like the fan base that you're cultivating is inevitably going to despise you. They're always going to have this. He did Umrah, not Hajj. I thought he did. I think he did. Who has the timestamp of Emma eviscerating a chatter on Majority Report? Yeah. Mudahar is a better Muslim than Hasan. Yeah. It's just disappointing. These people, it could put all their energy in showing us the right way to talk about Gaza if you're doing such a poor and radical job of it. Yeah. I want them. I want people to do that. I want people to be committed to the appropriate way of doing coverage on Israel, Palestine. I don't want to hear pointers from people whose coverage is like, drama focused, because I think this is something that is more serious than drama, If you don't talk about it at all and the only time you actually have any commentary is people who are actually railing against Israel, then, just feels a little hollow. Or say your beliefs openly. If you can think that, if you think that what Israel's doing is great, then say it.
Policy is really my biggest concern, but overall, I think she is a better candidate.
Okay. And you're a registered Republican.
I'm an independent.
You're an independent now.
Yes.
Who'd you vote for in 2020?
I voted for Trump.
You voted for Trump.
Yes.
So if you vote for Harris, in the math, that's a big deal, especially where we live here in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll come back to that as well. You also had a conversation with the vice president after. She immediately, you're the first one she sought out.
It's lovely. Yeah.
Tell me about it. What you can. I don't want to violate your privacy or her privacy,
That's okay.
but to the point you can.
And I really felt that, and I really, I came out of this feeling, just kind of a feeling of adoration of her personally. I think personally she is a good person, and there was a nice connection, especially as a woman. There are a lot of things that I connect with her as a woman. However, I am very big on details.
This is the tax lady. Oh, God. Oh, no. What's she going to say? Tax
I'm big
lady.
on numbers. I am a widow with 100% responsibility for my family, for my kids, for their tuitions, for my bills. And so I do my own taxes. I'm very much on top of every dollar. And so that is where, and I'm not really getting it from either candidate, to be honest. So that's where I just want to see what lines up. And I don't know if it's with this kind of environment that you can't commit to something, but I really do have to vote for my family. And another thing that is very much a turnoff, and this is with
She's just like laying it on. Here are the reasons why I will never vote for Kamala Harris.
both candidates. Stop trashing each other. We don't care. Stop trashing Trump. Trump, stop trashing the vice president. We don't care. The voters.
Yo, she's so, oh God, oh no, she's so stupid. Oh God, I love American politics so much. I am the civility voter, which is why I am voting for Donald Trump.
Don't care. We don't even know the people they're talking about, that this person said this and that. How does that impact the voters? That's who you're talking to. That's who you're serving. This feels like high school gossip. We don't care. We don't want to hear it.
You're all nodding about that.
How has Kamala Harris attacked Donald Trump other than he's a f***ing Adolf Hitler clone because of his policies and because of the people close to him saying he's an Adolf Hitler clone? That's not an attack on Donald Trump. At a certain point, like Donald Trump literally is like, Kamala Harris is not black. She's a whore. Don't care. She sucks. I hate her. And then she's like, excuse me. In retaliation, if Kamala Harris is like, yeah, Donald Trump's policies and also people close in his orbit have called him Adolf Hitler. These two things are not the same. Okay?
Yeah,
As someone who's covered a lot of campaigns, I'm not here to take
Yeah,
sides.
Trump called her mentally disabled, said generals would have, no, not generals, all these other global leaders would have their way with her. It's like,
Trump's
But
about.
you know what Trump's about. Okay, that's the point I was trying to
Stop
get at.
talking about
in the sense that if you are her,
Yeah. I would say stop
but if you
talking
look at the numbers, Donald Trump is running stronger now.
no. The generals one was Jesse Waters. Trump specifically said all these other world leaders will make mincemeat out of her, like will destroy her.
And he was running in either 2016 or 2020. Okay. So if you're her, you're thinking I need to try to disqualify him sometime.
Okay.
But you're all telling me that you would prefer she do that by making a more affirmative case.
Yes.
This is why you should pick me over him.
about her.
I would say exactly that for, I think, from prior to even entering the race as the presidential candidate. And then once she ultimately was nominated, for a very long time, she didn't stoop to his level. And as of late, last couple of weeks, I've really started to see, like you said, this schoolyard bullying. And I think that's beneath her. She doesn't need to do that. She can run on her policy. She can run on her position. You don't need to stoop to his level. And I really think that's
What the fuck has Kamala Harris done that even, dude, I swear to God, undecided voters are making me sound like I'm coconut pilled right now. Like, what are you watching the same show that I'm watching? Are we living in the same plane of existence? What are these people saying? You cannot reason with these people. Like, what is going on? Oh, you shouldn't stoop to his level. When has she stooped to his level? I think she should, by the way. I think she should go farther beyond. That was a fucking thing that I was upset about to begin with. And she's like, no, actually, these are the most important voters in this country. Just remember that. These people in this room and people exactly like them are the only people that matter in November. Just remember that from this day on for the next 12 days. Remember that those people and what they decide will decide your future. What is this system? What is going on? I hate this so much. People that say stuff like, civility is my most important reason, or Kamala Harris should not stoop to Donald Trump's level. Like, what are you saying? What are these people saying? I'm going to start crying. I swear to God. It's like there is nothing that Kamala Harris has done that is anywhere even remotely close to what Donald Trump has done in terms of like communicating dog shit insanity. At the most, the most frustrating part about Kamala Harris is that she's too like cookie cutter, boring fucking bullshit, always answering questions like the teacher's pet that unfortunately didn't study enough for the test. So she's trying to fucking pad the word count as best as possible. Like, even in all of that, you go, both sides are attacking each other. Like, what the fuck? What is happening? Oh my God. Like, there are a million different things you could be launching direct attacks on Kamala Harris on, okay? A million different things. I do it all the time. I criticize the fuck out of her. But when I hear one singular undecided voter in one of the most important fucking swing districts in the country that is probably going to design the outcome of the next 4 years, it makes me want to no longer be here, okay? It makes me want to get on a fucking Elon Musk spaceship to Mars on a single fucking, just one-way ticket to Mars, dude. What the fuck? What the fuck is happening? Like, if your problem with the American political process is a clear lack of civility, then you're not undecided. Okay? You're voting for Kamala Harris. You're not undecided. You cannot be of this mindset. This is ironically the same thing that people were clip chimping me on LSF to be like, Hasan is anti-Semitic. Like, if your singular issue is Kamala Harris pro-Israel or not, you're not undecided. What do you mean? Like, how can you claim to be undecided and be like, are you sufficiently pro-Israel? Like, what the fuck do you mean? What are you talking about? Like, what more could she have done? The campaign literally kicked out a prominent Arab person that was invited to a fucking speech. They sent Richie Torres to Michigan. That would happen like 2 days ago. They sent Richie Torres to Michigan to speak to the Jewish Democratic Party voters in Michigan to be like, guys, don't worry. We fucking hate the Arabs, okay? We will never be pro-Israel. Like, what more can they do? What more can they fucking do?
What it is. And, you know, I respect her more for that if she would just stay out of that arena.
We're in this very unprecedented place. She just became the candidate in July.
Yeah.
Normally you run in a primary, or you're the president, as Joe Biden was, you're the incumbent, you're not really challenged. You go. To that degree, she clearly feels the need to introduce herself more. So you understand who she is, not just what her positions are, but who she is and what makes her tick. Let me start here. Did you hear anything tonight? Will you leave saying, I understand her better, I know her better, not taxes and spending?
Dude, if I did this as a job, if I had to talk to median voters as a job, I think I would die. I've decided it is the one thing that's worse than dealing with fucking random gray names in the chat for 10 hours a day. Like, actually, this is it. This is like talking to 5 undecided voters in one of the most important districts would cause me to Brian kill me, okay? I would Brian kill me. I would. There is no way. I would not be able to. I am just watching from afar for pure entertainment. I have become a different person. Okay? This has this has changed my outlook. It's making me question my own internal moral compass that says democracy is good. It's making me now think maybe democracy is not so good. Okay? That's crazy. Obviously, I still think democracy is good, for the record, before people clip Jim and be like, Hasan is a fascist. But god damn.
Ending, not abortion rights, not immigration, but who she is. If the moment of crisis comes, I trust her or don't trust her because of what?
One of the things that stood out to me was when, I believe it was you that asked the weakness question. You know, what is your biggest weakness? And she brought up that she has people around her that she can trust, that she can get the answer from. In my line of work in IT, I don't expect everybody to know the answer. I expect them to know how to get the answer. And
your job is to turn a computer on and then turn it off and then turn it on again. You cannot do this for the election. Okay? Stop it.
Specifically, that resonated with me because I don't need a president that knows everything or thinks they know everything, because that's not what America needs. They need to put the right people in the right place to lead the country efficiently. One person can't lead this country. They need a team, and that's that.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that was the biggest that's the reason why I asked that question. I also want.
Okay, then why are you undecided? Why are you undecided? What expert has Donald Trump put in a federal agency in his career? What expert has he ever placed? Like, fuck the Democrats. They're fucking monstrous pieces of shit when they don't need to be, and they shouldn't. But like, if that is what it boils down to, when has there ever been a moment where Donald Trump was like, I'm going to put an expert in a position of power? He literally filled all of the regulatory agencies and all of his cabinet positions with whoever the fuck was working to undermine it before he became president. Like, that's what he did. He looked at it and he was like, who is the biggest fucking freak I can put in a position of power? Oh, that's right. A billionaire who's designated his entire fucking life to destroying the education department. Betsy DeVos, a family with a long history of trying to undermine public education. Let's put her as the Secretary of Education. Like, what are you saying? Like, no background whatsoever in like actual education, only a background, a track record in destroying education, like deliberately, fundamentally undermining education in this fucking country, in the state of Michigan. Now she became the Secretary of Education on the Department of Education. How? Like, if that's your analysis, if this is what you care about, you're fucking stupid. Like, you're not undecided. You should be decided.
I also appreciated the fact that she had a certain degree of introspection as she was answering that question, which was certainly another factor in this. We, again, as I mentioned in the setup to the question, we are not perfect as human beings. And in the presidency, you need to acknowledge that as well, because you have so much around you that can sometimes lead you to think that you're larger than life. And at a certain point, we have to acknowledge that there is something bigger than us, whatever that something is to an individual. We have to acknowledge that there is something bigger than us that helps us, that helps us be humble in our daily life, whether it's president or.
To that point, let me flip it. You have to sometimes say there are things that are bigger than me, bigger than what I believe. You have a very important personal position on an issue that is profoundly important to you.
Yeah, it's a bad decision that he has. Okay, he's talking about abortion, for the record. He's anti-abortion. He's Mr. Anti-choice.
Abortion rights.
Yes.
And it's deeply personal. I assume a position also born of faith. So she's asking you, essentially, my words, not hers, but I get you, I respect you. Can I ask you to put that aside because of these other issues, whether it's the economy, whether it's immigration, whether it's Trump's behavior?
Yeah, by the way, it's not personal for him, okay? It's not. It doesn't actually undermine a medical procedure that he could get ever, because he's not a fucking woman, okay? So no, it's not personal for him at all. He's got no skin in the game whatsoever. It might become a reason. It might become an issue if he has a daughter one day, you know, or if he gets a wife one day. Doubt it. But let's say he gets a wife and then they are trying to go through this complicated procedure. They're having complications with even getting pregnant. And then finally they actually end up getting pregnant, and then it's an ectopic pregnancy. All of a sudden, maybe religion not so significant here. Okay, maybe religion doesn't play that big of a role. This is the classic Republican conundrum. Okay, I don't give a fuck about anybody out there until it's a problem for me. That's why Dick Cheney was secretly pro-LGBT. Why? Because his daughter, one of his daughters, not Liz Cheney, the other one, is a lesbian. Okay? It's like selfishness is the fundamental decision-making structure for the Republican Party. And I will never get and Democrats are selfish too. Don't misunderstand me. They don't give a fuck about what's going on in Gaza, or they don't give a fuck about what's going on in general in like red states. Sometimes they get like a little out of hand with the way that they fucking talk about like, oh yeah, I hope Hurricane Milton fucking destroys Florida, all this shit. But having said that, if you are advocating for universality, if you're advocating for social safety nets, you are fundamentally advocating for things that don't immediately impact you. Okay? Republicans don't do that until it becomes a problem for them. It's just selfishness. It's just pure selfishness. And sometimes it's even worse than that when you got a person who's like a Trump supporter whose parents are undocumented. Then it goes beyond selfishness, where it is like you're so stupid that you are literally voting to deport your parents. Okay? And there are many people like that out there. I do not understand how you arrive at that level of like brain rot, but it exists. It fucking exists. And that's because, and this goes back to the thing that I was talking about beforehand, people don't realize what policies they are co-signing until it happens. It's selfishness and it's stupidity. Okay? They do not understand when they say, oh, we want mass deportation. They think, oh, it's for the bad guys out there. Not my parents. Duh. My parents are good guys. They're wonderful individuals that have contributed to society. They don't have the capacity to think this decision is not born out of any real logical reason, but pure vitriol. They do not think that like white nativist immigration policies, the fundamental underpinning of white nativist immigration policies is just pure white supremacy, okay? And nothing else. There's no logical reason for this. They don't get it.
That's what she's asking you to do on a principled issue on which you fundamentally disagree. Can she get you there? What would it take?
I think that it would take, honestly, it would take a profound respect for the fact that there is a dichotomy here. And whatever approach is taken on that particular issue, if we can respect the fact that the Declaration of Independence, the first document of this country, indicated that our first right that is given to us by our Creator is a right to life, that matters. And if we can at least approach it with that as our foundation, then we can have
Okay, this has to be a Kamala voter. He speaks like Kamala. Like, this is a Kamala-ass answer, dog. What happened? This is the most Kamala-ass answer I have ever heard from a direct motherfucking question, dude. While we have to start considering the Declaration of Independence and the dichotomy that exists in a right to have someone who exists in society that doesn't think abortion is good.
Maybe a conversation in that regard. The other issues that you laid out?
It's been a tough call, but I found the one guy I want to leave out of Medicare for all. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. You don't need this asshole's vote. For every pro-life IT guy with transition lenses in the suburbs, we can win 5 pro-choice women in the cities. This is true.
There is a lot of agreement on both sides. It comes down to finer points of execution at the end of the day. We heard Anderson press the vice president regarding the border wall and the fact that there's still $650 million allocated to that particular project, that project that was such a standard of the first time that the former president ran. The fact that
even the IT guy's looking at him like, what the fuck are you saying, dog? What? Stop yapping.
She wouldn't necessarily answer that question directly, and the fact that she agreed, like, that we need a secure border. There is agreement on both sides. It's just a matter of the execution that's a part of it.
What?
So here's a look. So it was so frustrating.
What is he said so much and yet so little, bro? What the fuck? What the hell?
Watching some of the town hall, I had to flip off.
Nauseating.
I had to switch off. I didn't say flip off. But and then read some sound bites today. Yeah. Here's a look at the questions, concise and simple, and the answers anything but.
2022, 2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first president.
He said it's a matter of execution, so he likes the way Trump says he will handle immigration. Yeah, probably. Make no mistake, you cannot learn anything from hearing these fucking stupid ass undecided voters, for the record. Like, you can't extract anything out of this that's meaningful. It's just for fun.
Presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
First of all,
Oh, this was a funny fucking take on the New York Times, by the way, from Thomas L. Friedman. Arab and Jewish voters both need Kamala Harris. A day barely goes by without a story about how many Arab and Muslim Americans or Jewish Americans plan to cast their votes in this presidential election based on the distress over the Gaza war or its spillover onto American college campuses. If you're in that category, then there's only one candidate to vote for, Kamala Harris. I totally understand the distress coursing through these two communities. Arab and Muslim Americans with friends and family in Gaza or Lebanon or the West Bank worry every day about loved ones being killed or wounded with U.S.-made weapons that were transferred to Israel. Jewish Americans have had to worry every day about their kids being exposed to left-wing anti-Zionism on U.S. college campuses. Why did you write that? You should have just said, like, unrestricted Jew hate or something. Like, why? This is one of those moments where you're just not even doing a good enough job propagandizing a position. Okay? Just fucking lie, dumbass. Why did you have to be honest? It makes it so stupid. It makes the argument entirely so fucking stupid. I've heard recently my friend's daughter had to stop wearing the Star of David necklace on her college campus. It's gotten that bad. And I'm like, I wonder if it might have to do something with the explicit linkage by Zionists to the religion of Judaism using the Star of David as his flag. Yeah, I mean, you can't. Like, people are going to say, when you say that, Megaphonics, who is Jewish, by the way, I understand where you're coming from. But, like, people will look to that and be like, see, they don't give a fuck about anti-Semitism. Because a lot of people fundamentally do not think Israel associating itself with Judaism is a bad thing. Okay? They don't. They also simultaneously don't want to think that Israel is doing bad things. That's the problem. Former Sports Illustrated swimsuit model says Trump groped her to show off for Jeffrey Epstein. This is old. This is the old shit. Oh, yeah. Remember when there was a smear campaign against Rashida Tlaib for being like, why is a liberal attorney general in one of the bluest fucking, bluest state, democratic states out there, like one of the first in the nation to specifically and directly target pro-Palestinian campus activists? This did not happen for Black Lives Matter activists in the state of Michigan. This did not happen for any other kind of activists in the state of Michigan. There seems to be something here that is weird, and there is, like, directly a demonstrable bias here. And everyone was like, wow, this sure is anti-Semitic, sweetie. Is it because are you saying that it's because Dana Nessel is Jewish? Remember the fucking smear campaigns that happened with the light apologies that came afterwards from Dana Fash and Jake Tapper? Yeah, it turns out 6 University of Michigan regents donated to A.G. Nessel's campaign. One shared her campaign. She hired one to take the state's opioid cases. She has personal relationships with several, and she got She got SIG dollars from local pro-Israel folks raising conflicts of interest question. This is Tom Perkins' reporting from The Guardian. It turns out, much to everyone's surprise, guys, I mean, everyone is surprised by this. Significant dollars, I assume, is what he was saying. Much to everyone's surprise, oh yeah, there was a conflict of interest. I'm so shocked. Will Jake Tapper and Dana Fash cover this story? Will they talk about how they were so wrong in disparaging Rashida Tlaib, implying that she's anti-Semitic? No, they won't, by the way. On some of my worst days, I would venture so far as to say that equate the two is narcissism incarnate, but I understand rationally that people are always inward looking. Anyways, the rest of the piece is where Friedman insists, despite no evidence, that all Harris is for a two-state solution and will work tirelessly for one. This is not convincing to me. I do not think either candidate wants a Palestinian state. I've tried so hard to argue with people that what Israel is doing with the Star of David on its bombs and guns is directly endangering myself and the entire Jewish diaspora. And I just get met with, but we have to do it to save our kind bullshit. Literally no self-reflection whatsoever. It's more counterproductive in that regard than productive. It fucking sucks, man. She's a HasanAbi.
What is the hardest substance you've ever taken, and how was that experience?
Okay, dude. What the fuck is this? Trust you should watch. Okay.
What is the hardest substance you've ever taken, and how was that experience?
That's a very interesting question,
Isn't it?
The hardest substance I've ever taken
Yes, ma'am.
was swallowing the amount of money wasted on the military-industrial complex.
What is the hardest substance you've ever...
What the fuck? Yo, that's Code Pink right there. Okay, I was wrong. That was a valid thing to watch. That's a Code Pink activist right there, dude. Years and years in the making. We're going to watch the Shabibo video later. Do not worry.
You're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the
get
flow
my
of
food.
immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration
But if
is
it was
low.
that
But
easy
hold on,
with
let me
that
finish.
executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well, here's the thing. We have to understand that ultimately this problem is going to be fixed through congressional action.
Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I'm not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
You know, I got to give him so much credit.
I know.
Haley Jackson, too, yesterday. These aren't complex questions. They're the questions everybody has. She has not been forced to answer. She got the nomination in July. She hijacked it. And here we are in October. She's finally getting just normal questions and a follow-up. She has no answer.
Anderson asked her, why didn't she do what she promised as a vice president? And this was her answer. There was a lot done, but there's more to do. I'm pointing out things that need to be done that haven't been done, but need to be done.
Yeah. Well, now that makes sense. Now that you read it back. Now I get it.
There were some direct questions that we all want the answers to. Particularly undecided voters want the answers to.
So frustrating to watch.
One of I read.
I'm not frustrated.
I read this morning that apparently she was asked a pretty simple question, and she gave a 7-minute answer that didn't actually answer the question.
What a shame.
Here is Barack Obama's former advisor, David Axelrod, over on CNN with his assessment of her performance. And you know what? It was not good.
I think it was a mixed night, okay? I think she was very strong coming out of the gate. She was very strong on, as she has been, on abortion rights because she feels passionately about it. She could be clinical on some of these economic issues. She was great on the long-term care for the the elderly. The things that would concern me is when she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city, and she did that on a couple of answers.
Damn.
One was on Israel.
Damn.
Anderson asked a direct question:
Damn.
Would you be stronger?
Okay, David Axelcock. Damn, coming in hot, dude. David Assencock. Yeah, that's right. She said it's word salad city, population Kamala. Fuck's going on there? Figure it out. She does do that a lot. It's a fucking, it's very annoying. I mean, Fox News is the last place on the planet that should ever make those criticisms, considering what the fuck Trump cooks up on a daily fucking basis. But, you know, That's neither here nor there. But like, you know, yes, it is not. The irony is not lost on me when Fox News is like, oh, Kamala doing word salad. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Trump weaves.
In Israel than Trump. And there was a 7-minute answer, but none of it related to the question he was asking.
Tell you something, the analysis that one of the Obama bros is giving is essentially reflecting what the former president of the United States, President Barack Obama, feels, and David Plouffe, who's now running Kamala Harris's campaign. I owe them a lot of credit from my childhood teaching me how to do community organizing, knock on doors, communicate with. She has some of the best tacticians on her campaign. The problem is they have a terrible candidate. They were used to dealing with Barack Obama, who can go out there and speak and communicate to the American people, who wanted the moderates to come and vote for him, who was called the deporter-in-chief. And now you have a candidate that has had years to craft some sort of message. And
I like that he secretly revealed that he was a Obama door knocker and then turned around and called him the deporter-in-chief and is now firmly anti-Obama anyway. Like, nothing that he just said makes sense about the way this man views the world until you realize, like, oh, no, he knows his role. Like, he knows he's playing a role here at Fox News, and he's going to play it.
She has nothing at all for the American people. I mean, good luck.
No, this is why the answer is Donald Trump is unelectable. He's unhinged. He's too old. That is why she's going to be at the ellipse January 6th. Yeah. That's what she's going to say. Don't vote for me. Just don't vote for, vote for me because you don't want to vote for him. And that's pretty sad when they look around with their communications experts and said, but judging by your performance, we have to make him unelectable because we can't make you electable.
Yeah, that's true.
Running for president would be very difficult, right? You're asked questions, you have to think very quickly on
every answer could kill you.
Yes, exactly. So you have to be smart about it. But when it's over and over and over, that whole town hall, she wasn't answering any questions. It makes me wonder, is she prepared for this? Does she have a plan? Or is she saying, I'm a thinker, I can't answer this right now because she needs to go?
Come on, man. Fucking Donald Trump literally says concepts of a plan. Like, what are you talking about?
Backstage and ask her people what to say.
Well, and tonight she's on the stage. She's going to be down in Atlanta, and she's going to be there with Tyler Perry, Bruce Springsteen, people like that. Because that's one of the ways you can you can pack the house and then you can get your message out. It doesn't mean everybody there is going to be saying, okay, I'm going to vote for her.
But is this a message she's going to read off a teleprompter?
I don't know. We'll have to stay tuned for that. What's interesting is the number of people who this cycle are sitting it out. Warren Buffett put out a statement through his company website yesterday that said there's a lot of fake news on social media that I've endorsed somebody. I'm not going to endorse anybody, which is the same case as the LA Times. The news today about the LA Times not endorsing anybody is the fact that the op-ed page editor quit. Because apparently they were planning to endorse Kamala Harris, but the billionaire owners said, we're not going to endorse anybody this time, which flies in the face of what they have done for decades.
I just want to go back to Ainsley's point about someone.
How come the billionaire owner gets to make that decision? Like, what? Why would you reveal that? Like, why would you say that as though that's beneficial to your side of the argument? Am I misunderstanding something? Like, did this fucking idiot just say the billionaire owner was like, you're not endorsing anybody? After the editorial team was like, we should endorse Kamala Harris, the billionaire owner came in and was like, no, we're not endorsing anybody. Shut the fuck up. And then the head of the editorial team quit. How is that a favorable story for the Republicans? Fox News pro-billionaire was confusing? No, dude. They're also kind of like populist. You forget, there are good billionaires and bad billionaires. But if you simply say someone is a billionaire, that's not enough. They will regularly talk about how, like, the Democrats are in the pocket of billionaires. You know what I mean? Like, they'll be like, the Democrats are the elitist party. We're the real working class. We represent the real working class. Anyway, yeah, not everyone has the same approach that we do, which is the only good billionaire is me. I'm a billionaire.
One that ran for president back in 2019, that is the current vice president of the United States, that when faced with issues of the country says she's still thinking about things. Yeah. I mean, in any other job, you're asking us to hire you, and you don't know the answers to the questions.
She's 12 days away from a possible.
Yes. Why are you 12 days out?
No. Yeah, she gave bad answers. I can criticize it. You can't. No, you can't be on Fox News and eat Trump's dick every day when Trump literally did that while he was president. Like, not just before being president, not just after he's running again for the presidency, but Trump would do that while he was the president. You cannot use this as a line of attack. I can. You can't. That's insane. It's like, yeah, and Kamala Harris hasn't seemingly studied enough to be the president, and that's why I'm voting for Donald Trump. Like, what the fuck?
Out and you don't know how to fix the border. Why are you 12 days out and you still don't have an answer on how to lower the price of groceries? I mean, that makes zero sense. In any other job, it would be disqualifying.
And why are these jobs now to secure the border, to fix the grocery prices? Why weren't they over the last 3.5 years when she was saying the border is secure?
And also, you notice how many Denny's are closing, how many Fridays are closing. These are basic food
people
prices.
Can't afford it.
Yeah.
Very interesting to see why these so many of these franchises.
3 fabulous restaurants just closed here in New York, and you drive up Madison Avenue. Used to be store after store. It's empty.
Yeah. Well, part of it is the high cost of food and labor. The other thing is people can't afford to eat out as much as they could.
People aren't shopping as much anymore.
No. Don't worry, though. She has a plan to make sure people don't go to prison for weed.
Oh, high cost of food, you say? Oh, high cost of labor, you say? Interesting. Like, listen, I think it's unconscionable the way that the way that the American government treats undocumented migrants. But I wonder what policy would directly make that much worse. He said high cost of labor, like as though that is a reason for fucking inflation. Get the fuck out of here. He also said people are getting paid too much. In the same conversation as he said, people can't afford food. These things have nothing to do with one another. Okay, please do not say that. But they are related.
Because that's what we're all concerned about right now when we can't afford things. I mean, it's so insulting to the American people when we continue to ask for basic things, how to eat, secure the border, and you give us weed.
Who's going to be a better friend to Israel? Should be an easy question. You were Donald Trump. And she basically had...
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, this is it. This is my favorite. Oh, here we go. Who's going to be a better friend to Israel? This should be an easy question. You or Donald Trump. To which she answered, I'm going to be the worst friend to Israel. That's the way I read it.
Had no answer.
7-minute answer.
Right. She's trying to
buckle up
to get those voters in Michigan, but she's also trying to get those voters in, South Carolina.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
Kamala Harris is holding a huge event apparently in Clarkston, Georgia today, a town known as the most diverse square mile in America. I mean, that speaks to the changing demographics in Georgia and why the state is very much in her sights right now.
Without question. I mean, she will be in Georgia later on for her first joint appearance with former President Barack Obama. He's been out on the campaign trail with her extensively. This will be the 6th battleground state. But choosing Georgia as the place to have this joint appearance is certainly interesting. The diversity of Clarkston is something that is going to be obvious to people attending the rally, obviously, from there. But it's also something that she is trying to speak to show that Georgia has more opportunity for her. I was in the Atlanta suburbs just a couple weeks ago talking to just the rising influx of Asian American voters. Some support her, some do not. But certainly this is a new base of Georgia.